All right, folks, grab your badassery coffee, buckle up because Evernorth just dropped $1 billion in XRP. That's not pocket change. That's shake the market, melt X, call your broker kind of money. This move could rewrite how institutions actually play in crypto.
Exactly, Chip. We're talking about a fun-on financial shift. Digital asset treasuries are exploding, and Evernorth's XRP play might just be the signal that everyone here has been waiting for. Everyone, I mean, the entire crypto industry on the chain is here to break that down. We're going to break it down deep. What this means for Ripple, deep. What this means for Ripple, XRP, and where the smart money is heading next.
Yeah, so it's not your average headline. This one's got a little bit of teeth, just like the Yetis. So pour that coffee, hit that like button. Let's get into some straight up crypto badassery. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Chip, today's show is brought to you by BADASSERYCOFFEE.com. Is it any good?
Nah.
No, it's
effing great. Of course it is. Of course it's effing great. I love that. Love that. Very good. Job where you're coming in from, guys. Welcome to Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, depending on where you're coming in from. We'll probably see a little bit of everything in there. I'm sure we will.
Everything and
everyone. What's going on in the comments? Florida is in the building. Nebula Clips in the building. Where in Florida are you coming in from? We got Ray the Muss is always in from New Zealand. No Zealand. We got Tom is in from. Can't see that flag, Jeff.
Why is that? No, I don't see it. I don't know. We have to be on YouTube to see it.
Oh, I can see it right there on the screen. It's just really small. I can't really tell.
Oh, in that little picture there. I'll get the magnifying glass out.
I was like, it's so tiny. It's so tiny. Can't even see it. Dirk van der Gut is here from Belgium.
An hour and 20 minutes.
20 minutes. There you go. Fred Hoffman's coming in from New York. Guys, hit that like button on the way in. Hit the like button. We want to see things.
Or 120.
That are liked. 120 over there. Nice.
We're right on time. Well, we're right on time. I don't know where everybody else was, Chip.
Our time ish, you know.
On the chain, clock works differently.
Well,
we're a little bit of off kilter on the what is that?
Usually it's Jeff that's having some tech. There's always something going on that prevents us from. Every once in a while, we'll go really on time, but today it was me that had some technical challenges. Sometimes it's Jeff. But you can guarantee it's never both of us. It's always one or the other.
So it's just one or the other.
It trades off on the chaos there, which is really funny. But apparently it goes there. But we kind of tease this one about Evernorth. I'm really excited about Evernorth. It's so great to see Asheesh Birla, because I thought, when he announced he didn't really leave Ripple, but he just said he was not going to be an employee anymore. He was going to sit on the Ripple board. We haven't really heard a lot from him. So I was like, and he didn't say like I got heads down, like working on a project. It was none of that. It was just
right,
and he was such an important figure, especially at Ripple, a really big thinker. And I thought it was weird because we never saw him like really show up anywhere else. But he probably had his head down working on Evernorth. But here's Evernorth here. Evernorth signed a business combination agreement with Armada Acquisition Corp. Number 2, which is now trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker XRPN. XRP, probably N is for North, Evernorth, right? So XRP North. How cool is that to see that talker?
That's really cool. Mark Smithson saying that at the Evernorth headquarters is Troy, Michigan, exit 69, which happens to be Big Beaver.
It happens to be Big Beaver. I actually, as you got the Big Beaver, I made it right. I lived about a mile and a half up the road there in a condo there.
Really? Oh, is that where you were?
That was part of where I was right before I left. I was in a condo there. About a mile and a half up on the right hand side. There's a whole group of condos over there, and that's where I was. So I know it. I remember it and know it very well. Yeah. So this is wild, man. It's just cool to see that stock ticker on NASDAQ XRPN. And we're going to open up this release here, which talks a little bit about this here. It says the new ticker aligns with the 1 billion strategy for XRP exposure on NASDAQ. And then you have so our Armada Acquisition Corp is a special or corporation. I'm guessing what it's for. When I see CRP, I would pronounce it core, but a special purpose acquisition company sponsored by Arlington. That's Michael Arrington XRP Capital Fund. Today announced it'll change the ticker for its symbol for Class A ordinary shares on NASDAQ from AACI to XRPN.
Wow.
In addition to the ticker symbol, its units will change from AACIU to XRPNU, and the ticker symbol for its warrants will change from AACIW to XRPNW. Yeah, it makes a little bit more sense, right? So basically kind of changing it over from what it used to be, more in line to, what it makes a lot more sense. Ticker symbol changes. Yeah, effective upon the commencement of trading on NASDAQ. October 30th, 2 days ago, represented a key milestone in the company's strategic transformation. This is kind of cool. It simplifies everything, right? It makes it a little bit easier on the eyes.
Yep.
And this change comes on the heel of last week's announcement that Evernorth Holdings, this newly formed Nevada corporation called Evernorth, has executed a business combination agreement with Armada. That's the business combination agreement, which results in a new company that raised over $1 billion in gross proceeds.
$1 billion.
Fund open market purchases of XRP. And this is really the first company that's majorly focused on XRP. Everything kind of skips around it. Everything kind of like maybe uses it, Ripple now with the Ripple USD. Brad Garlinghouse reminded us last week in an X post, Jeff, that he was going to, everything that they do has something to do with XRP, and not that they're not moving away from it. There's not any sort of focus taken off. So this right here, I just think this is kind of came out of left field. I was just shocked to see something like this.
Yep. I'm really excited to see these updates and changes. This is where we're starting to see TradFi and the whole crypto passion all coming together. We're going to really start seeing, some big moves. This is big. This is huge. I think this is the beginning of the big movement. We've already seen Grayscale and others that have been doubling down on their ETFs. What was it? It was Thursday. I believe it was Thursday. Grayscale launched their Solana ETF. Friday, I got into the Solana ETF, and it's really cool to see. I like seeing on the traditional finance side.
Yeah.
I like seeing this rollout of the different ETFs. The SPAC, when you get into a SPAC, I think that, potentially has different risk involved. But we're starting to see transition where they'll move from SPAC over to more secure product. And just overall, though, group by group, you have I Trust Capital, which I think we need to talk more about. There's a lot going on with I Trust Capital, and it's been around for a long time now, allowing people on the traditional side to invest in XRP and other digital asset. Grayscale will be rolling out an ETF, an XRP ETF. It was very cool to see. There was so much outflow from the Bitcoin ETFs with the rollout of Solana. And I think Bitwise rolled theirs out first, and then Grayscale rolled theirs out. And it's really cool to be able to just so easily move traditional asset from one ETF into the other, one crypto ETF, I should say, into another crypto ETF. And the way they break down the investment, I want to say yesterday, I don't know what it closed at. It opened at like $13.54 or 56 cents, somewhere in there. That was the Grayscale Solana ETF, GSOL. So if you want, entry points, you have, friends, family that have always talked about wanting to get into crypto, and they always found it difficult to try to navigate the new tech, or they didn't want to open up a Coinbase account or whatever it might be. And they were just tried and true with whatever, passionate investment. If they're on Fidelity or any of these other investment vehicles, then they can easily get into Grayscale. They can easily buy Grayscale Bitcoin, GBTC, or the BTC, or they can go into GSOL, which is for Solana, and soon XRP. So that is going to bring such vast amounts of money investment. Plus we're going to talk more about how all of these assets are going into the treasuries. So a lot happening.
Yeah, it's a lot happening, and I saw this question, or I saw this comment here from Tom Nielsen. He's saying all of these ETFs, new partners, but no wild price on XRP. I mean, what will it take to move? Well, yeah, there's nothing for XRP quite yet. Okay, so there's some, the range seems like it changes. I've heard as many as 22, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 or 19. Now that the government being shut down, they have been putting some of them through. The one like the Solana one, the chair of the SEC talked about how they did that. There was some kind of a waiting period, and there's sort of a principal way to put it through. But with the government shutdown too, that's going to affect some of the approvals. But as these approvals come through, and Jeff, you commented on this, we saw this with Bitcoin. If you started looking at the ETFs, the purchasing of the Bitcoin was something like 70%, 60, 70% was going into the ETF, and that wildly affected the price. And I expect the same thing will happen. We will see it. It's not going to be like the magic bullet or anything, but you're going to see over the course of maybe several months, as they all start getting released, that's going to move price a little bit. It's going to move it, but also too the adoption, right? So it's all about the usage, it becoming a sustainable business model of sorts. That's going to be really key to sort of keep this up.
Yep. So here you go. I mean, to this point, the Grayscale Solana Trust ETF closed yesterday at 1373, up 74 cents. I mean, that's a nice move. You have a 5.7% gain yesterday on the GSOL, so you're going to see, significant inroads into this asset. Obviously, as they go live and they get the approval on it, some of their product has been around for a while, and only accredited investors could get into these different platforms. So we've seen, if you look where this has been, you go back in time a little bit, and the market for the Grayscale, the GSOL, has been kind of up and down with the rest of the market, up as high as 22 at its height. So, and that's going to move with the valuation of Solana. And it's been in definite low points. Look at that, at its highest, $30 back in January. Year to date, if we go over the 5-year, let's see, the highest point was $108 back March of 2024. Interesting. Where Solana was at, kind of at some of its peaks over there. Now with Bitcoin moving in the direction, you get an XRP rollout into an ETF. I think the market, now we're starting to see the foundation, the interest in the marketplace as a whole. I think there's more recognition and identification of XRP in traditional finance at this point. There a lot more needs to happen. I believe we're going to go through probably 26. Right now, you see the building and the news, the media. They're bringing so much focus and attention to what this means. The building of treasuries. As soon as we see corporate treasuries start piling up XRP or XRP ETF or whatever it might be, that's where, who was asking the question, what's it going to take? We haven't had any movement mainstream for XRP yet. It still needs to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And also too, a lot of people always ask like, hey, how come and there's different types of ETFs. You got futures ETF and you have a spot ETF. And people are like, well, how come like in a Solana one, why is it tracking at, $13 versus, what Solana is tracking at in the hundreds of dollars, right? I don't know what the current price is. And a lot of it has to do, depends on like market conditions, supply, demand, sentiment. There's a lot of other factors which go into calculating that price in an ETF. And it generally can move independent of what you see there. So like, for example, if Solana drops a certain percentage, despite maybe good flows and everything else, so it can affect that. But again, that's why people are like, well, wait a minute, I can't buy Solana for $13. It's like, it doesn't correlate the same. There's a lot of things that are different about it, but the underlying asset, that's purchased is Solana, right? So it's the way the ETFs calculate, it's a little bit more complicated. But so people are always wondering, well, wait a minute, I buy a Bitcoin ETF and it doesn't have anything even remotely to look like that. But again, what you're looking for when purchasing those, and this is what's great about it, like the ETFs, we're always in traditional type of the, your typical like Fidelity accounts, your 401ks, all these type of accounts. But you're soon going to probably see more crypto being held. But it's a lot easier for people to get into an ETF. They just simply would go, boom, pop in. There's the Bitcoin Grayscale ETF right there. It's trading at 86. But look at that. That's over 1 year, right? So it's gone April 25.
56%, Chip.
Yeah, 56%. So, but it's a lot easier to get into this as well, right? Especially if you're on a platform where, let's say, you have a retirement type of account, you can easily, that has ETFs, but still, you can buy shares of this, and if you'd purchased within a year, or even from, I'd say April 25, it looks like it's up 56%, almost 60%, right? So pretty interesting, Jeff. I wanted to read this other quote from Michael Arrington here because I like it. Let me put this up here. He says, as a SPAC sponsor and longtime XRP fanatics, I love that word, we at Arrington Capital have high conviction in Evernorth's ability to drive meaningful impact and add shareholder value, said Michael Arrington, founder of Arrington Capital and chairman of the board of Armada Acquisition Corp. In recent months, XRP has maintained a prominence in an ecosystem that continues to expand through bold product innovations, a relentless community, and a string of notable new contributors, including Hidden Road, G Treasury, Rail, and Standard Custody. All pretty new acquisitions within the last 2 years for Ripple itself. And Michael Arrington, he started off with TechCrunch. He was the editor and founder of TechCrunch. In 2017, he founded his fund. I think it was 100 million when he first started it, something like that. He started a fund in 2017. Of course, he's been funding projects and doing stuff like that. So he thought, like, oh, he lives a very popular, well done thing like TechCrunch, but then he goes on to do even greater things in the space, especially focusing in and around the whole crypto area, which is really cool.
Yeah. It's really amazing to see, how we have some of the big hitters from back when that are big hitters in the new tech. Obviously, they come with a lot of money, that definitely helps to get into it. But to see they had the vision back then, they're not just going to start throwing money around for the heck of it, in technology that they don't believe is going to succeed. So that's where, the old tech guys, know the direction things are moving in, the ones that are putting their money behind it. Really great. Sir John is saying they can't put XRP ETFs into production at the beginning of a bear run. They have to wait for a year so they can show big gains through 3-year period after they start, which is an interesting point, in terms of when do they roll it out? How do they get some traction on it? How do they show gain? And there's definitely going to be a little bit more to it.
Well, I've never heard
exactly when it rolls out, but I want to show
this term bear run though.
Right.
Bull run, yes, I understand. A bear run, bear decline, maybe, because it's not. I've never heard the term bear run. I guess there's a bear, period. There's a bullish period, but a bull run. But I've never heard a bear run because usually that's running in the wrong direction. So, but yeah, I get your point though, 100%.
So Grayscale actually does have an XRP trust, and so that is available if you're an accredited investor. There is a way in through the Grayscale. Even the Solana ETF had been active for a while, just got its approval for mainstream investment. The Grayscale XRP trust has been around since September 5th of 2024. And it breaks down, what, all the different details on it right now. If you look at their per share, they're at $49.36 on a Grayscale XRP trust. So that's, so as we take those things into consideration, now, I don't know, what is this going to be when they do get their ETF? Is that going to blow up Is that going to stay the same? Does that number go down? You know, is there an adjustment? Are they doing a split? Because they did do that. Grayscale, they had the GBTC and then they launched the BTC Trust. The BTC Trust originally launched at like, you know, $14. Oh no, it launched at like $4, $4 or $5. I remember the entry point when I got in. Then they did a reverse split. They did a 10-for-1 reverse split and jacked the price up to 40 or 50. So it's kind of a different situation. So you're in, you know, if you had 1,000 shares and you do a reverse split 10-to-1, obviously you don't have 1,000 shares anymore, but your value is the same, you know? So if you're in at a $5 investment point and all of a sudden each ETF share is now worth 50. So the question is, how do they manage from this perspective? Are they going to do a split? Are they going to do, you know, they won't necessarily do a reverse split in this case, but are they going to do a split for anyone that's already invested to bring the price point down? And so there's a lot of things that can happen before it goes mainstream. And I'm just looking historically based on what they've already done on the reverse split with the BTC, because they had such a low entry point. GBTC, the entry point on that started, I think it was like $12, $13, somewhere in there. I remember getting in. Now it's 8. What do we look at? It was like 80 something. That just grew kind of naturally, organically. It didn't do any type of split on the GBTC. So there's still some things yet to come. And this is where it gets interesting from on the traditional finance side, just to see how they leverage it, who's getting in, how are they getting in, plus the other benefit of the ETF that is severely overlooked is that you can buy these ETFs within your retirement accounts. So just like iTrust, but the 401ks, depending on your platform, if you have access, you should be able to look in and say, hey, I want to get GBTC. Well, guess what? You can take a whatever percentage, whatever you want of your 401k investment, and you have access to all the different mutual funds and shares and stocks, whatever. If you have full access to it, you can invest in Bitcoin, you can invest in XRP, and you can do all of those things and benefit from the gains of the market in the 401k, which is, to me, that's exciting. I like seeing these opportunities to be on all sides of it, you know, depending on how heavily you want to be invested in crypto. That's it.
It's good stuff.
That's all she wrote, Chip. That's all I got. Got nothing else to talk about.
That's it. We're done. Well, let's roll it. Let's roll the.
Let's roll the outro.
And good night.
Thank you and good night. And by the way, today's show is brought to you by
$5 for a latte. Half of that feeds some hipster's avocado toast habit. Quit financing coffee fads you don't need. It's time to rebel. Your badass great grandpa had only one tin cup and brewed his coffee over an open fire. We roast to order, ship free, and keep every bean bold enough to wake the dead. Or at least your 9 a.m. meeting. We make coffee that punches Mondays in the face. Badassery Coffee. Fresh, fierce, great. Roasted fresh, shipped free. Chaos pending. Order now at badasserycoffee.com. Badasserycoffee.com.
And that's a QR code right there.
.com. There is a QR code if you're watching on a computer. If you're on your phone, well, you're just gonna have to pop in.
If you're on your phone, then just look at the QR code. It looks really cool. Can't really do anything with it.
Well, no, you just go to. That's not true. Just go to Badassery Coffee. I just dropped the link in there. There you go.
Badasserycoffee.com.
There you go, baby. Badassery.
Badassery.
What's cooler than a flaming skull anyway? I mean, let's be honest. There's really nothing.
Your name isn't short enough. You just need to shorten it to
well, it's funny. Sometimes I'll sign an email with just C, because it's just too hard to type those 2 or 3 other letters, man. It's like if I'm making something really quick, I'll just sign it C. You know, it's like, because it's too much work.
I see what happened. Osman I didn't even notice that until he mentioned it. He said, Zoe, it's not short enough. You now have shortened it to CH. Look at the name on your
no, I know.
On your
that's
picture.
Because all my settings got hosed today, and when I went to type that in, it's unbelievable, man.
You're now Chuck.
It really is really dumb.
So funny. I don't know why I didn't even notice it. That's so funny.
There we go. You guys feel better now? Here, why don't I
Badass
just,
doing a leverage buyout of Starbucks.
how about that?
That's right.
C&J.
That's it.
Thank you. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, so let's go on to some other news here.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, this so Ripple Swell happens next week. This looks to be a really cool session right here. This is the digital asset treasuries DATs have exploded this year, and that's another big thing too. I think that it also talks about confidence in the market as well. When you have I think there's at least 8 that I'm aware of, maybe 9, where companies are purchasing XRP for their treasuries, and we saw this happen. Michael Saylor, famously the guy that started it all with adding Bitcoin to the treasuries, now is probably one of the biggest whales out there as a result. But you started seeing a lot of companies adding XRP to their treasuries. Evernorth CEO Asheesh Birla and David Schwartz joined Michael Arrington to talk about what's expected. I don't like when they do this. I find this is bad style right there. Put their name and put this in quotes, because then you can't read it, and half the time you got to like mouse over. Just pour across the board. You know, they're not their handles, they are their names, and then their handles are secondary. So I always like to see that in quote, because Joel Katz is not David Schwartz. Ash Go Blue. I mean, it's great that he's a Michigan fan, but nobody sometimes will read Ash Go Blue without knowing who he is. And Michael Arrington to talk, and then they put Michael and then add Arrington. I gotta have a conversation with these guys about this. But they need to have a standard on this across the board, because I see this all the time where people just put handles in there, and it's like it's there's a lot to read. You have to mouse over and see. Like, you gotta put your cursor over it. It's
name
like,
and everything.
it's just
It should be nice. Get to a point where you can just use your name, and that just.
Well, there should be a way to link your name to your handle. That would be cool.
Exactly.
Like some kind of code you put in, and it shows up as your name, but your name you can click on it, right? That would be a better way to do it, because
that'd be much better.
With the web, you just would put somebody's name and have the link to their handle that way. There's no way to really do it here, so they default to the handle. It's just, to me, it's sloppy, but that's just me.
There's got to be an easy code, definitely easy code to do.
Well, it would have to be programmed into it.
Give you the option. Yeah,
but this looks to be a fantastic session right here. Really looks fantastic. And then this one too.
Cool.
Where's the other one? I thought I had another one up here somewhere.
Man, you're gonna be able to meet all these guys. You'll be able to meet.
I will be able to. Yeah, I will be able to meet him. He won't be that excited about meeting me, but I'll. It's like, who are you?
Kidding? You're kidding. You'd be like Chip on the chain. When can we book my my time slot?
Yeah, come on.
What he's gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sure. There was another one that I wanted to pull up here. I got to see where it is at. Somehow I pulled up the same one twice. I think it's this one right here. Here it is. This is the other one that I want to talk about too. What does secure institutional custody look like in a tokenized world? Next week at Swell 2025, leaders from top banks and asset managers, including you have Sandy Call. She's from Franklin Templeton. We've seen a bunch of videos on her. Ryan Rugg. She's from Citigroup. You got Cynthia Bissett. She's from Fidelity. We talked a little bit about Fidelity. And of course, Reese Merrick, he's from Ripple. And Reese is going to be moderating this. You see how easy it is to read? And then, so at Citi, you go that, and then Fidelity, and this and that. And this is Franklin Templeton.
Those are at least the companies.
Yeah, but they didn't put the names on there. It would have been nice. No. They have it in the card, so they don't really have to worry about it.
Right.
All is good. It's very
institutional
good.
Custody and tokenization. So now they're talking about more on the tokenization side, what that's going to mean. The streamlining of your typical, portfolio investment. How much more streamlined? A lot of this, what they don't want to mention is they're cutting out the fat. They have to simplify. Tokenization on the ledger. You think about how many people have to touch a stock portfolio to manage, maintain across the board, not just in one portfolio. I'm talking about just kind of leveraging the entire industry. How many people are involved, and the human error potential, but just from an ease of movement, because you look at settlement. If you're buying and selling on your exchange, that settlement doesn't happen instantaneous. Sometimes it's a 2 to 3 day settlement, but you're leveraged with your investment. So your exchange may or may not let you use those funds immediately, and they'll give you access to the funds to reinvest. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And maybe it has to do with how much you have already invested, et cetera. But it's amazing to me, once we get through the tokenization, now we're talking about streamlined settlement. Maybe they still want to delay. They don't want instant. They still want to hold money. Maybe they have your money tied up in different ways, which they probably shouldn't. But let's say they did, but they need to have, a time to release funds. And if the entire industry now goes through full tokenization, we're talking about streamlined potential, not to say it would happen, but potential happening of a 24/7 exchange capability, similar to right now in the crypto market, where you can buy and sell 24/7. You don't have a human element always monitoring your purchase and sale of XRP and the full settlement thereof, within the platform, within the exchange. Imagine you can do that. You want Microsoft shares? You don't have to wait till market open or pre-market or post-market. Not everybody wants to trade in pre and post-market because there's less volume and it's a little more volatile potentially. So, but let's say midnight, you want to buy, sell your Microsoft shares. Now everybody has access. The entire globe has access 24/7 to buy and sell Microsoft shares, as an example. You want to sell them at midnight, sell them at midnight. So I'm wondering if that'll happen. If you have that possibility, the technology is there. It's proven within crypto. It's proven you can trade 24/7. Are they going to allow that with your tokenized securities? Good question, Chip. Thanks for asking.
I didn't realize I asked that question. That's really that's what's really crazy. I didn't realize that I actually had asked that question, but apparently I had. Apparently I had. That's interesting. But who knows, really? By the way, you were mentioning that, so I thought I'd pop this up real quick. Here's a look at Apple versus Microsoft performance comparison, and in the green is Apple, and in the tan is Microsoft. So Apple's up 32%, and Microsoft's up 19%.
Wow.
There you have it.
What do you think the big change is at that moment right there? What is propelling Apple from an announcement perspective, company growth perspective? What's pushing them?
They announced the new phone, but the new, I'm really, for being such an Apple fanboy, I'm really disappointed in a lot that's going on, because you could see that they were tanking compared to where Microsoft was on a pretty good trajectory going back to June, was really leading. And then right here around right around September, this was the announcement came out about the new phone. So it might have been some sale. I don't know, something popped the price up, but historically Microsoft's actually been in better position. I'll be honest with you. I think Tim Cook is he's a guy that maintains legacy code. He's not a thinker. He's not a strategist. He's just let's maintain what's already here. He's not the right guy. I'm not a fan of Tim Cook. He's a good guy in terms of, really being promoting and stuff like that. But I mean, like since Steve Jobs has been gone, they've been writing on legacy stuff, and they announce a brand new phone, and the best thing going for it, they always tell you the camera's better. Like, do people care? People going to drop another $1,200? They're not.
No, that's what I can't figure out. Like,
weird.
Are there people that are running out with every phone release and getting a new phone? Are they dropping $2,000 for what? What do you get out of it? I don't understand what's new.
Yeah,
what's so new on your phone that's going to drive you to get it?
Even on the Android side, it's like there's not enough feature. It's like, I need that feature. A lot of times features are updated in a software release, like, now you can do this. Okay, cool. Once the actual hardware gets old, some things you can't do. You just don't have the power of the chip. But to me, it's like, I know you come out with a new phone every year, but there's like nothing new really. There's no, what's the big deal on the Mac side?
I'm still using an S20. They're at the S25 or S26.
Yeah, but what's the advantage?
I saw it in Korea. I saw their latest and greatest tech, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But what is that going to do for me every single day? I don't want the bifold. I don't want the trifold. I was watching people walk around with the bifold thing. I said, why don't you just get a tablet? Why are you standing around like a douche with this tablet in your hand with your phone? Like, I don't understand it. I don't want
it either.
You know,
No,
I'm gonna go
it's
sit on my computer. It just, I want my phone. I want to make phone calls. I want to check email. I want to, you know, I'll work with ChatGPT. I can edit. I can go onto Canva. I can do everything I want on my phone. If my whole
right,
world was Canva, maybe then I would want it. But then I'll be like, why would I want that? Let me just get a tablet, and
right.
I'll
It
pull my
doesn't
tablet
seem
out and work on it.
that great, you know. So maybe that's what propped the price up. But I don't really see any real innovation. If you know, I mean, Apple had started a whole a whole from scratch AI department, an AI group. It failed and they disbanded it. It's like you're Apple. You've got billions of dollars. Go acquire one of the top. You know, they should have bought Anthropic. There's conversation about them getting Anthropic. The longer you wait, it's not even. And then what do? They roll in ChatGPT into Siri. Siri
Mhm.
is the worst product on the planet. There's a brand new startup that came out called Flow, and it's effortless. I enable Flow on my keyboard, and I can mumble a bunch of crap like how Siri used to work.
Mhm.
Gets it all spot on, word for word. Half the time, I have to speak to Siri like this, and I'm like, "Come on, Tim
Right.
Cook, you can't. You keep devolving a product that gets worse with every release. You got people, you know, you've got everybody wanting to revolt. It's just a horrible product. You build a bad product. You disbanded your AI department. You let your best designer in the history of the last 100 years leave the company, and then he goes off and sells a company, becomes a billionaire. You just
Right.
to me, it's like it's not the spirit of Steve Jobs. The spirit of Steve
Right.
Jobs is not alive and well at Apple. What's alive and well is a
True.
guy who's maintaining, and it's unbelievable they've been able to maintain stock price increase. But where's Apple evolving to? What's the next cool thing? Okay, iPhone was 2007. We're coming up on 20 years, you know. I mean, yeah, they basically reimagine, because remember everything up to then had a stylus. You had a stylus, you had a
Right.
physical keyboard, and it was Steve Jobs that said, "We don't like it. We think the
Mhm.
best stylus you have is your finger, and we're going to use your finger." In the beginning, there was a lot of, you remember the
A lot
people
of
who were like,
resistance.
"Oh," there was a lot of resistance. They're like, "No, we need the physical," and then they realized that there's no phone today that has a physical keyboard. You know that like Jeff
Although
was
they're
saying,
trying to
like
bring it back.
I don't care for it, man. And the thing about it is, like with keys, you can do stuff with software. I'm so much faster, so much better. And if dictation works, you don't even need that. And half the time on my computer, on my Mac, I hit the function key twice and I'm dictating. Now, what's weird is on the Mac, flawless dictation. I don't know what the difference in, it never trips up on anything I say. My phone can never get it right. And I can't tell you how many times it puts crypto with a K. What the F are you doing? Crypto with a K? Why are you
Right.
spelling crypto? We're not talking about crypto, Superman's dog, because it's named after crypto. I mean, what is going on? I just, and there's no way to like commit it to memory. Like if you're a chat GPT and you have a pro account, you can say, "Hey, store this in memory. This is
Right.
always spelled this way. Always do this. I want you to commit this to memory." But and what does Apple do? They roll in ChatGPT. Half the time I ask Siri a question and it's like, "Would you like to use ChatGPT?" No. If I want to use ChatGPT, I would go into ChatGPT. Like what? Sorry, Jeff, don't get me started. It
No,
just drives
no,
me
it's true,
insane.
but it's true. It's across the board. I think the more the things seem to be advancing, the worse things are getting. You know, Chad brought it up. He was kind of thinking exactly what I'm
Oh
thinking.
my
The damn
God.
autocorrect. How bad is not just dictation, but when you're typing? It used to be I would type stuff, it would predict stuff, it would give me the word now. You start typing it,
It changes.
it doesn't know how to spell shit, right? I just want to start typing letters. Like I know it, this is how it's spelled, but normally, let's say you were going to spell prospect and you left the O out, right? It knows, right? It just, you start typing PRSP and then it's like, okay, prospect, right?
But the worst part about it, Jeff,
Now it doesn't know. And all your words, all your sentences get jumbled up. You're typing. You're like, why isn't it predicting simple words? It doesn't even
well,
know how to spell. Then you have to look it up. And I'm like, am I wrong? Did I misspell it because it doesn't
it's
know? I'm like,
well
what the
the
shit?
part that gets me is like I have to select my word that I typed.
Right.
And if you're
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
I typed it right. I typed
Exactly.
Ripple did, and then it changes to something else. But why do I have to change my word if I see that? Oh shit, I made a misspelling.
And why
I'll,
doesn't it
I'll,
remember it?
I'll select the new one. It doesn't remember anything.
Doesn't
You
remember shit.
retype the word crypto. It puts it with a K. I'm like, it spells Jeff. I must be on the British version because it spells Jeff, Geof. instead of JEFF. And I'm like, dude, this is driving me crazy. He always changes your name to Jeffrey with GEO. And I don't know if that's a British thing or whatever. But Jeff, I was unaware of this. You didn't tell me that the Badassery is doing a leverage buyout of Starbucks on November 15th.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Swell is the last New York City conference before it becomes a communist satellite.
That's right. It'll be.
We're halfway through, Jeff. You know what it's time for?
It is time. Oh, is it that time? Holy shit! It's already.
You got to go
on the 40. On the 40. All right. Now there's a new word of the day. Actually, it was the word from the other day. Is that the word you're using? I hope so, because I put it all throughout the entire song.
You can ask them how to spell. Sure, you can.
That's right. Chip, I hope you put the word of the day as the word from the other day. Did you?
This is what Jim D says. His Samsung always wants to connect to his LCD monitor while the OTC. Yeah, stupid things like that drive me crazy. Like,
oh, yeah, it always
why?
Yeah, if you prompt it once, it's going to keep prompting you.
Like, why?
Like you put up connect to your monitor. Do you want to connect to your thing? All right, here we go. Do you have
what's the word? What's the word?
Rigged.
Yep. There it is.
All throughout the song. So I saw a couple Yetis. So if you guys typed in Yeti,
there's 2 rigs.
But here we go. Fred has got rigged. Sir John's got rigged. Everybody knows rigged.
Still only those are the 2 that put it in there. Yeah, rigged.
That's it. But here we go. Check this out. This is going to be just middle of the screen. This video is strictly lyric with some. You'll be dead center of the screen. So here we go.
Badass Yeti, Badass Yeti, Badass Yeti, why try? Badass Yeti, born from lava, raised by chaos, freak for fire! They ignite the storm. Fur that sizzles, hearts reborn. From molten cracks, they are the storm. Some say, rigged for rage, the ash Yetis are rigged for war. That cuteness kills, they are the storm, badassery coffee at the core. With claws of fire and eyes that gleam, they're the nightmare in your dream. Badass Yetis! Badass Yetis! On the chain! Badass Yetis! Built for battle! Badass Yetis! Made for legend, claim yours or be forgotten! Badass Yetis! On the chain! Badass Yetis! On the chain! Badass Yetis! On the chain! On the chain!
And there.
Where do we
There
go?
you have it.
I was like, where do we go, Jeff? Where did we go?
I don't know. I was looking.
We
Like, how come
disappeared.
we're gone?
Dope track. Visual Vendetta says that was a good one.
That was a good. I
That was
went
a
through.
good one. Yeah. So we have
20.
11 in there now. That's good to see. 11 people have typed the word rigged. You only type it once. You can type it
Gangsta
7
rap
times.
up pumping. That's right. You better believe it.
Yeah, that was a good track, man. I like that. No chain, no pain, baby. That's what it is. No chain, no pain, no pain.
Just remember, it's all rigged.
It's all rigged,
It
dude.
is rigged.
Rigged. Needs Butts put this up. While the rest of crypto tries to integrate their DeFi into TradFi, Ripple's
for
integrating their TradFi into their DeFi. This is the single stroke of genius that will define XRP's success. Ripple has strategically circumvented the system to become the TradFi 2.0. David Schwartz chimed in and said, I think institutional adoption is needed to pave the way for the next wave of retail adoption. If DeFi is going to replace TradFi, it's going to have to do all the boring things TradFi does, and institutional adoption seems the most likely way to make that possible.
100%. He's so right.
100%. That is
He's so spot on. And that guy's smart. He just needs to stay out of other things. He's so smart. Yeah, but that's it.
Ellie Terry put this out. The 10th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in the Custodia Bank versus the Federal Reserve case. In a 2-1 decision, the court sided with the Fed, rejecting Custodia's bid to compel the central bank to grant it a master account. Now, this is this whole thing with Custodia, 3-4 years of the Biden administration. Now, here's what's weird about this, Jeff. 2 of the 3 judges were appointed by Republican presidents. Right. So you can't say, well, they're liberal judges. Okay, but you can see that they're really, and the difference here, like people go like, well, Ripple has a bank charter and that. Okay, Ripple's institution. It's a whole different thing. This is talking about retail. So Custodia Bank is a retail bank, and
Right.
and it's a crypto bank. There's no like, hey, they are a crypto bank. And what the decision was based on the fact that they're too worried about crypto. And like, this is old thinking. This is thinking from 12, 13 years ago. And so I hope Trump
Not
weighs
there
in
yet.
on it.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to.
John
We're
Deaton
not
said-
100% there yet, though, Chip. I firmly believe we're just not there yet. The whole
But the Federal
space
Reserve,
has to catch up. They haven't
why
caught up.
is the Federal Reserve going to stop any bank from getting a license, whether they have crypto bank or whatever? To me, it's just another reason to get rid of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is not federal. There's no reserve. And all it is a shakedown corporation. It's a leg breaker corporation. It's like a mafia run operation. Who the hell is ruling at the Fed? Who the hell gives a shit? They're nobodies. They're just, all they are is a cartel that loans money to the United States, and now the United States has to pay. Why is the United States loan? Why are they paying interest on money that they can coin? This is the dumbest thing ever. It's been going on since 1913, and everyone's just brain dead. Or like, well, that's the way it's always been. John Deaton said the fact that it wasn't a 3-0 is promising for either an en banc hearing at the 10th Circuit or a writ before the Supreme Court. Keep fighting, Caitlin Long. Caitlin Long has been going through the ringer with this thing. It's insane, Jeff, all the shit she's gone through.
They're a bino, bank in name only.
A bino. Well, Custodia Bank put this statement out here. It said, while we were hoping for a win at the 10th Circuit today, we received the next big thing, a strong dissent. It raised serious constitutional questions about the Federal Reserve and was written by a judge sitting by designation on the panel of a similar case in the 9th Circuit, including Judge Barak's opinion in the fourth corner case. And now there's a 2-2 split on this question among 10th Circuit judges, 2-1 in Custodia's favor among the active 10th Circuit judges. Custodia has an option to petition for hearing by the 10th Circuit, and we're actively considering that.
That's great.
I think a writ before the Supreme Court makes more sense, but you got to exhaust everything before you get up there. And I think this is a good thing. It's a very good response, and it just shows you how divided. How do you have one court, the 9th Court, ruling over one thing and then setting a precedence? But what they were looking for was this strong dissent, because now they can have now you've got the constitutional question comes up, and now that's something that would be a sticker at the Supreme Court, via writ, like John Deaton had mentioned.
That's it. I mean, it's really, we're moving towards just full market adoption, right? And we've talked about this, and this is where the damn fanboys on YouTube that just kill me how dumb they really are, because they promote stuff that's based strictly on their emotional internal opinion with zero fact involved in and around it. When they talk about XRP is going to replace the US dollar, the crypto market's going to replace the entire financial infrastructure, everything's going to run on the rails of XRP, blah, 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 right? What they don't factor in ever, and they always say, end of year, next year, it's going to happen immediately. This is happening as we speak right now. Get ready. The rocket ship's here. It's impossible. There's no validity to any of those statements today. 10 years from now, it could be different. Who knows where we're going? What we're seeing right now is that we're 1 decade into blockchain. 1 decade. 1 decade isn't going to all of a sudden replace hundreds of years of financial infrastructure. And when we talk about financial infrastructure, we're not just talking about the minting and the printing of currency. We're talking about all of the power that goes along with it. You think that people are just going to automatically just step aside, be like, oh, look at that. There's ones and zeros on a spreadsheet, on a ledger. We're just going to step aside. That obviously works so much better that we're going to lose all of our power, 100% of our power gone. We're just going to accept it. That's never going to happen in anyone's reality. Never going to happen today, right? Because the Federal Reserve, right? Central banks, government, politicians, all the people that have their hands in the cookie jar. You think they're just going to go away tomorrow? It's not going to happen. And so what we're seeing right now is the fight, and it's going to play out. Is it going to take a year? Is it going to take 2 years? Is it going to take 5 years? Is it going to take an entire decade? If this has to go to the level of a Supreme Court, How many years is that going to take? Where are we going to get? At the end of the day, technology is probably going to ring true. We know that the corruptive nature of government has to go away. We know that in order to get rid of the corrupted nature of government, you need full transparency. On the other side of it, right? Corrupted government, corrupted minds, corrupted individuals. Why is it that we're seeing, while we're rolling out the greatest time in human history, stupid people, libertarians and liberals, are adopting socialism in their mindset, in their passion, at a pace that we've never seen before in the history of humankind? All of a sudden, people are moving, and not just moving, they're running to it. They're running to it all hook, line, and sinker. New York City, California, Michigan, the UK, Germany, you go throughout Europe. They're running to it at such a fast pace. They can't wait to give up their freedoms. Can't wait. People are so stupid. And so the crypto bros and the stupidity of socialism, they're coming together and blending so well together, because at the end of the day, you know what they all have in common, Chip? They're all uneducated. None of them want to look at any facts of anything. All they want to do is just emotionally throw themselves into FOMO and FUD and
Yeah.
get rich quick schemes. How do you get rich quick if you're falling to socialism? People that are adopting socialism are buying into, I want everything for free. They bought into such bullshit. There was one guy on YouTube, and I think he was a minister. He was preaching in front of his church, and he was talking about all the clothing brands, and he's looking at the clothing brands, right? Gucci, and I don't know. I mean, there's a whole, whatever they are. And at the end of it, he said, here's the clothing brand. It's somebody's last name, right? It's a family. It's an infrastructure. He said, you go buy your Gucci or whatever brand you're buying, and you're feeding their family, and you're running around like, hey, I've got something cool. I'm wearing something cool. Look, I've got their logo on my shirt. I've got their logo on my bag. They've convinced people, and this has gone on for a long time, obviously. Ralph Lauren. Look, I'm wearing polo. Oh, everybody's got polo. They got to get the Ralph Lauren.
I only wear Ralph Lauren, by the way.
around.
If you want to know the official clothing, Jeff, I only wear Ralph Lauren.
I know. I'm not knocking you for it, but it's
I'm just saying it's my
quality.
uniform, dude. It's my uniform.
Well, I know it's good quality. Well, it's nice. I like the quality of stuff, and we're all in that same pool where we're running around, buying certain clothing. Some because it's better quality. Some, people want the huge logos, and they're running around. But Sir John, I'm bashing you. That's right. You probably have the huge logos on everything that you're wearing.
Well, Jeff,
no, but you get my point. I mean, that's the point, is that it's so ingrained, the control and the power and everything, the power hold. We're not just all of a sudden moving over into a full on crypto. We're seeing the battle play out in front of us. The biggest battle was the SEC v Ripple. That was the biggest battle of our time. We haven't seen anything yet. Wait till the Federal Reserve starts fighting back, and all the central banks start fighting back. We're gonna see something at a level, and we just saw the beginnings of it. We saw them trying to fight, right? And there's gonna be so much more that's gonna come. We have to fight for freedom. Thank God we're gonna lose New York City to the Islamists, and everyone thinks that's okay. You think it's just about socialism?
I think it's fantastic, personally.
They have to fall. New York has to suffer based on their decision.
I hope it's pain and suffering that has never been felt before in the United States. That's what I hope it is.
That's it.
It has to be that bad. But the reason everybody's saying all, Jeff, you would have been if you were in the UK, the police would be knocking on your door right now.
Oh, I'm sure they would be. Now, I don't think we're going to ever be able to travel back to the UK. Honestly, I don't want to travel to the UK. I used to love going to England. Loved it.
Too.
Even though the food's not so good. But I love the pubs. I love steak pie. I love shepherd's pie. I love stew. I love fish and chips. I can get, fish. I love curry.
Sir John,
I love all that stuff.
Look at this. He wears silent luxury. He hates big logos. By the way, the ones that I like the big pony logo even better than the small pony logo,
because it does look cool. I like that.
I prefer Ralph Lauren purple label over polo, but the reason is like, look, the quality is always there. They're made of a certain quality, a certain.
True.
Like for my knock around clothes, there's a certain brand that I like to wear because the shirts are thick, they're heavy, they're durable, and that's the reason I wear it. I hate their freaking logo, Carhartt. I wear a lot of Carhartt I hate their logo. I don't think it was a horrible logo. Unfortunately, you can't buy the silent. It's not a luxury brand. It's basically a working class brand. You know, it's mostly done in uniforms. But dude, the shirts are they're like thick and they last and they're durable. And if I'm out working outside, man, I want something that's really strong and not these little crappy New York City.
Yeah.
F New York City, the first example of this bullish leftist idiocracy.
That's it. And you see them coming out. You see them. They're so happy to support this guy. And the guy is obviously fake. That guy obviously has nothing behind him other than his family money. The guy is zero accomplishment in his entire career, similar to like Obama, right? Obama's a community organizer. Chip, you and I are community organizers. We organize crypto community. Here we go. And we meet 3 times a week to organize our
president of the United States, though, Jeff.
Well, he started somewhere too. He was an community organizer. We're organizing our community. At some point we run for office and we'll be like, Chip and I, we're community organizers. We organize people on a global scale. That was our reach. Those guys were just local.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
That's all they're doing, just spinning words and people, and there's tons of money behind them. Plus they're handpicked. There's people that are, even AOC was handpicked. If you think about how she won and got into
bartender.
Right. They
I'm not convinced that the X's are on the up and up in New York. I'm just not. I mean, AOC really is. I love the mouthpieces they put in front. Please keep doing it. I encourage the left to please do what you're doing. It's a really winning thing for the Republicans.
Right.
Please keep doubling and tripling down on stupid, because just when you thought you saw it's not going to get dumber than this, it gets dumber. And I was looking at stuff today and I go, Jeff, I'm like reading stuff. I'm like, when you think you've never seen something just so fabricated and dumb, the left is there to save you again. It's incredible. Scott Bessent put this on. I thought this was funny. He said 17 years after the white paper, because it was just the official date of the white paper, the Bitcoin network is still operational and more resilient than ever. Bitcoin never shuts down. The Senate Democrats could learn something from that. He totally openly using Bitcoin to openly troll the left. Man, what a brilliant stroke of genius right there.
Amazing.
Jeff, you look over what's going on in Europe right now. So Christine Lagarde, which runs the European, what do you call it? The federal bank there, right? The European, what do they call it? What's it called? The ECB, right?
European Central Bank.
European Central Banks. Listen to this, Jeff. I want to get your thoughts on dissecting what she's saying here.
I have good news for you on the digital euro front.
Okay, so Jeff,
I love that right away.
Already I got a problem with it. What is the good news on the digital euro front, Christine Lagarde?
I don't know.
Tell us what the good news is. She's going to tell us, Jeff. You're going to tell us all about
straight out of Monty Python.
Right? Good news. And then just the opposite.
Today, the Governing Council has decided to move ahead on the next and final phase of the preparatory work for the digital euro. The other good news is that on October 23rd, the European Council has asked us and all those involved to accelerate the process.
Shocking.
Yes. Right.
Shocking. That was the second piece of the good news. This is coming faster than even the first good news you even thought would happen.
So that we can roll out the digital euro as early as possible.
As fast as possible.
This is important because as much as banknotes will continue to circulate, we want cash to be in the form of digital euro as well, so that you can circulate banknotes and click cash.
And track the living daylights out of
with the digital euro. More work is going to be done in the next few months. And if we receive the approval by the European Parliament in the course of 26, we'll be able to pilot the digital euro as of 27. And if the pilot is conclusive and positive, it will be a formal rollout in the whole of Europe in 2029. This is a big project because the euro is our currency, your currency. It brings us together. It's a symbol of trust in our common destiny. So off we go with the digital euro in that next.
What an incredibly failed experiment. The whole idea of the euro,
the whole EU.
The EU is just an absolute joke. I mean, it started in 2000. It's a failed thing. It's like you're not going to. And look at how disproportionate it was to the failing countries like Greece early on, and Germany and countries like the UK having to do the bailouts. I'm like, I get it. You're trying to create some sort of You're not going to create the United States. That was
No.
never going to happen.
Nope.
And why would you want to give up any sovereignty you have? Like Croatia, for example. Why is any of these countries over in Europe, why are you going to throw down with unelected bureaucrats out of Belgium? Like, what, these people, they're the ones, if the parliament, you know damn well the parliament has already rubber stamped this thing. If they give it approval, we'll have it rolling by 20. Well, let's see if Europe's still there in 2029. Let's see if it's still called Europe. Let's see if Italy's standing. Let's see if Germany's still around, because it is, the UK is ready to fall. There's either going to be revolution or they're getting rolled, and they're going to be living under Sharia law. That's it. That's how it works. And, you know, we're going to return to the Crusades. You know, the Crusades always were misplaced. The way history looked at them is like, these barbarians. Yeah, the barbarians that went and got their shit back after being steamrolled, after being completely decimated, raped, pillaged, the whole thing. They went and got their stuff back and were successful. Either you step up now, listen, the power's there to do it. I don't know who's going to be running guns over the UK. If you got illegal shipments showing up with hundreds of people on it every single day of illegals, somebody's got to do some gun running over there, because how are these people going to fight back with sticks? I mean, what are the police going to do? I mean, who's going to stop the revolt? The peaceful protests are nice. They had the largest peaceful protest ever. Yay, wave the flag. Who cares? So what? You're not changing a damn thing. You got Keir Starmer, two-tier Keir over there, who's a complete moron. This guy is hated so much. His approval ratings are so bad. You have the Labour Party, which is not too different from the Tories. The Tories, they go like, they're the Conservative Party. Well, here we call them Democrats. Tories would be called Democrats here. They're not a conservative party by any stretch of the imagination compared to how we view a conservatism in the United States. So I always like the Tories. I'm like, they're probably they're probably like more like libertarians here, which are lefties anyway, for the most part, right, Jeff? It's like, oh no, we're libertarians. Okay, so you're on the left. Great. Okay, you're in a lot of ways, you're almost worse than that.
That's it, Chip. And if you look at the numbers, right, you can tell how imbalanced everything is. So obviously this is receipts from and contributions to. If you go and talk to the German public don't like the EU specifically, for this. Now, obviously you brought up some of the things that are happening over in Europe. They're importing people, and they're only importing military aged young men. Why is that? And you'll see videos of people calling them out. Where if you're coming from such a bad country, right? You're coming from such a bad place. Why are there only men? Where are all the women and kids? Why aren't the women and kids, over there first? Why don't they see mass numbers of women and kids, only the men? Obviously, there's a reason. Obviously, same thing on our southern border. Everyone questioned, where are the women and children? Why are there so many young men coming from all over the world? Because they're being seeded into society in order to create disruption in the Western civilization. If you can create an environment where your very security is jeopardized on a daily basis, where you can't walk out of your house and feel safe and secure, you've already disrupted the societal norms. All of these European countries, you used to walk around freely in the streets, take the buses, go where you wanted to go. You dealt with petty crime and other crimes and things like that. That's just natural, the evils of regular society. Now they're peppering people that are combatants from other countries coming to disrupt the actual flow of civil society. Remember that, civil society. This tells you everything that you need to know from the failures of the EU, outside of everything else that every country is now being dictated to, regardless of what your societal norms used to be, what your cultures used to be, because now your culture is a leftist, socialist European Union that has nothing to do with your actual existence, your background, or your history. You're all being branded into nothingness. And then if you think about that, who leads the charge? Who's actually footing the bill for everything that's happening with the EU, and you think they're happy about it. And what happens when those countries get displaced by Islamists and their monetary income flow internally in their countries drops down significantly, because now they're no longer contributing? Because what's going to happen is that the freedom-loving people are going to flee the countries and they're going to come to the United States. They're not going to stay over there, even though, you know, they keep showing videos of people going the other way. They're sick of the United States. It's too expensive to live here. So they're fleeing over to Italy and other countries. Those countries have to get their shit together. We bring more Western, you know, mentality over to those countries. Maybe they can save themselves. But at this point, they're going through such turmoil. But you look at a country like Germany footing the bill. Right, $33 billion in 23. That's how much money they contributed. France, 25 billion. Spain, Italy, 18 billion, and Spain, 13 billion. Look at the imbalance, because then you get to Poland and then Belgium, Netherlands. Netherlands only contributes $9 billion. You know, what in the world is going on there? And then you look at their overall net gain, they're only contributing 7 billion. Belgium is lopsided. Look at Belgium. Look how little they contribute and how much they benefit from, right? And you go down the list. Czechia, Greece. Greece is basically a socialist state that's being supported by the EU. All these countries, everything, all of them. Look at this, from Romania down until you get to Ireland has a little bit of an upset. You know, they're actually contributing more. Sweden a little bit more. Portugal's lopsided. You know, and you just look at the way this is broken down. Slovakia, another. Why would obviously they're getting handouts, but why would you want to be lumped in with what the EU is doing? The EU is going to do whatever is good for them, not what's good for Croatia. You know, Croatia is not the benefactor here. You know, they're being dictated to, and they're going to have to do things that are contrary to what's actually good for their economy. Oh, make everything green. Take away all the gas powered. Get rid of your farms. Get rid of your cows. Get rid of your production. You know, that's what the EU stands for. The whole thing is upside down. And this is where, and socialism, they're all fleeing. They're running to socialism. It's
well,
crazy.
You know what's funny, Jeff, is I was telling this to somebody the other day. I said, you know, people are so vested in socialism. Let's get free stuff. So SNAP, which is a supplemental nutrition assistance program, that's the acronym SNAP, because this government shutdown was going away. I know a federal judge just ruled on this, but because it's going away, this tells you that socialism is bad, because when a government program's cut, they can cut it any time. This is how socialism works. The government's going to dictate how your life works. And all of a sudden, socialism isn't so great anymore when they cut your benefits program. There's 40 million Americans on this supplemental nutritional assistance program. Yet, when you look at the graph, right around when Biden came in, it went through the roof. So you got tons of illegals on this that are so which Americans are actually on there? Which citizens are actually on there? And it's supposed to be a supplemental. It's not a free ride. You have a job. There's a lot of working poor people that do work, put 10, 12-hour days in, hard labor type stuff, but they don't make enough to make ends meet. This is a supplemental nutrition program, and it's been abused. And what we find out is, who are these 40 million Americans? Well, somebody looked it up, and they said that, some of the women on this program, average weight is 200 pounds. Like, well, what's going on? Like, who... what is happening here with this? I know somebody ran some numbers and they started looking at this thing, and it's just crazy. Now, you had a federal judge that has ruled and said the Trump administration needs to pay these SNAP benefits out of a contingency fund. So, and Trump was trying to find ways to fund this thing anyway, but this is what happens. You've got socialism fails. This is what happens. Like, everything's going great and your free cheese is fantastic until, government cuts it one day. And so there's your proof right there that it doesn't really work, So yesterday was Halloween. So JD Vance, you got to give this guy a lot of credit, because he has the ability to laugh at himself. Now, on the left of the screen, there's the typical JD meme. You see this memes of him all the time. It's kind of a puffy, fat JD with this weird hair. So he dressed like that. He dressed as the JD Vance meme for Halloween. Now, you got to give this, he's dressing as the meme, making fun of him. Like this right here, you would never see somebody on the left do this. You would never see them troll themselves, with a 4.0 and damage. You just would never do that. It's like, And the JD meme cracks me up every time I see him walking around or doing stuff. People have animated it. I don't know where it started, but it's got this weird hair, big puffy face. So JD put the weird wig on and started doing it. And here he is right here. Here's him in the outfit.
Happy Halloween, kids, and remember, say thank you.
There's JD. Because remember the spinning JD Vance meme? It's just too good, man. It really is too funny. JD, he and this is something really great. This guy, Gatorgar, put this up. He said, Vice President JD Vance just taught us an important lesson. All Americans need to remember. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. Don't take everything so personally. Don't get so uptight. You missed out on how much fun and enjoyable life is meant to be. We can be happy, united again if we just stop easily being offended. Thank you, JD Vance, for your wisdom and leadership to help guide America back in the right direction. And I want to transition to this, Jeff. This is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. It appears that hackers have taken over the University of Pennsylvania's computer systems, calling a college a dog shit elitist institution full of woke retards, threatening to release evidence of his discriminatory admission practices. So this is Penn over the University of Pennsylvania. This is also where Wharton is. So you've got this right here. Dear Penn, they sent this email out to everybody. Dear Penn community, the University of Pennsylvania is a dog shit elitist institution full of woke retards. We have terrible security practices and are completely meritocratic. I can't even say meritocratic, whatever. We hire and admit morons because we love legacies, donors, and unqualified affirmative action admits. We love breaking federal laws like FERPA. All your data will be leaked, and the Supreme Court rulings like SFFA. So please stop giving us money. Warm regards, the University of Pennsylvania. That's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time, Jeff. They sent that email to everybody. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Trump put this out about the SNAP program. He said our government, oh boy, here we go. It's going to do this every time. I am human. Thank you very much. He said our government lawyers do not think we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies we have available. And now there's 2 courts have issued conflicting opinions on what we can and cannot do. I do not want Americans to go hungry just because the radical Democrats refuse to do the right thing and reopen the government. Therefore, I've instructed our lawyers to ask the court to clarify how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. It's already just delayed enough due to Democrats keeping the government closed through the monthly payment date. And if we get immediate guidance, it will unfortunately be delayed while states get the money out. If we are given the appropriate legal action by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding, just like I did with the military and law enforcement pay. The Democrats should quit this charade where they hurt people for their own political reasons and immediately reopen the government. If you use SNAP benefits, call the state Democrats, tell them to reopen the government now. Here's Crying Chuck Schumer's office number.
Crying Chuck Schumer.
Crying Chuck Schumer, man. You just got to love that. Here is, so on the issue of deportations, mass deportations, Zoran the moron, here he is right here. And Jeff, this is what he said.
But if you want to pursue your promise to create the single largest deportation force in American history, or your promise to persecute and punish your political enemies, then you will have to get through me to do that here in New York City.
Why don't you get elected first, son? And then the second part of that is please double down on stupid, because you will get arrested in a heartbeat.
Trump said. There's a statement from Trump when he said that he wasn't going to let them get arrested. And Trump's like, okay, great. Well, you'll be arrested then.
Correct.
For stopping it.
Here's Elon Musk was on spent 3 hours with Joe Rogan, but this is one of the things he talked about, the real reason behind the government shutdown. Check this out.
The standoff is because if the hundreds of billions of dollars to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth to these states, if that is turned off, the illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States and stay here.
Wow.
And then they will lose a lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
And they would have a very difficult job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it into a new bill.
Yes.
especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, like, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy by importing voters, and the Republican Party disagrees with that.
And the ruse is that if you don't accept what they're doing, then you're a threat to democracy.
Yes.
As they try to destroy democracy.
Yes.
By importing voters.
That is
and
literally what they're doing.
People to only vote for them, and overwhelming the system.
Yes. And by the way, it's a strategy that, if allowed to work, would work. And in fact, has worked. California is supermajority Democrat.
Yeah.
And there's so much gerrymandering that occurs. It's crazy.
That's it. He's so spot on, Chip. But people have been talking about that for a while, as they bring in all these these illegals, and they let them vote in a state like California, and then the systems. These illegals are here. You think they came in illegally? They're not going to go and do massive ballot dumps and help defraud an election system. Plus, again, it goes back to who are they bringing in? Who are the illegals? Where do they come from? What country do they come from? What's their background? What military were they involved in globally? Who trained them previously? Who's training them now? They're not just here, just getting ready to work because they care. Who was paying them? Where did the money come from that they were getting paid from? What pool of money from NGOs and taxpayer dollars did they take it from? The liberal socialist propaganda machine, which has been shutting down because they found them, right, with USAID and others. They found where all the money was flowing from. Not all, but much of it. But this is happening on a global scale. So if you look at a country like the UK, why is the UK so bent on destroying their country? Why are they bringing all these people in? Why are they getting paid so much? Why are the illegals in this country getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars monthly, plus getting food stamp type subsidies to stay afloat with, and none of them are working. The whole corrupted nature of it. Then go to the elitists in California and elsewhere, where they say they have to have these illegals come in because who's going to mow their lawn? Who's going to do their yard work? Who's going to take care of their home? This is how disgusting these people are. Do your own damn yard work. Go mow your own lawn. How about you do your own laundry? Why do you have to bring in people and then pay them minimum wage from another country below minimum wage? Because they're going to pay them pennies on the dollar. Pay them $20 an hour, $30, $40, $50 an hour. Hire somebody that's from this country. Pay more for it. If you can't pay all that money to mow the lawn, then do it yourself. These people are just so corrupted. Their mindset is so just not. It's just not in congruency with the rest of where society has to be. But Chip, unfortunately, it's kind of getting late.
I got a couple quick hits and we'll get out of here. Right. This kid here says, I just voted for Zoran, right?
That's so horrible.
So there's tons of these people. And then DC Drano said, go visit a Muslim country with all that makeup on. Let me know how it goes for you.
Exactly.
And then there's this person, liking trans women is not gay. Liking trans women, it repeats that over. Liking trans women is not gay. And of course, Cartier family said, it's gay as F, actually. You gotta like that. And then finally, this is how loony the left is. And I hope they just continue doing this up to the midterms. I hope it could, because it's like accelerators. It's like doubling down on stupid. So this guy says, this is JD Vance's biggest political problem in 2028. How on earth is he going to get Magna base to accept her because she's Indian? This is the dumbest thing ever. Accept what? Like this, these people still are identity politics. They don't understand the difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. They don't understand that. My wife's from another country. My wife's from another race. It's like, I'm MAGA, oh my God. And they always call me a racist. I'm like, well, I can't be that racist. I didn't marry somebody from another race. I mean, from another who came here as a legal immigrant, not an illegal immigrant. So they just can never understand the difference. The same way they always call it a democracy, United States, and it's a constitutional republic. They don't, because they want it to be a democracy. They want it to be mob rule. They want it to be, we'll punch you in the face. And we get to decide, we the government, not we the people. And this whole thing of like, how are we going to get them to accept? What are you talking about? It's so funny. It's like, and everyone goes, I can't believe Trump and JD Vance are both married to foreigners, yet they're trying to deport the foreigners. Yeah, they came here legally. Listen, there's never been a question of legal immigration. I've always been for legal immigration. It makes the United States great. What doesn't make it great are people that have a philosophy and hiding behind a guise of a religion that says, if you don't believe what I believe, off with your head. First, I'll tax the shit out of you, and then I'll cut your head off. Geez, that sounds a little barbaric. Like, that seems like it should have been left in a few centuries ago, but no, here we are. How many people, these voters that voted for him, know about taqiyya? They don't know what taqiyya is. I mean, the Muslim can lie their ass off. They can go to the LGBTQ plus things and smile and wave and dance around with them because they want to kill you and they want to gain enough control, and then they finally do kill you. So I'm sorry, that's not compatible. People are like, we should outlaw Sharia law. Well, there's only one law. It's the federal law, and it's the law of the states. That's it. There is no, so, but I will tell you what's happening probably in our lifetime, probably within the next 5 to 10 years. You will see cities completely overrun that will be practicing Sharia law. Sharia's law is not compatible with Western style life. It's not. Put a woman in a burqa, cover everything but her eyes, and beat her openly. You don't like her? Punch her in the face. Beat her. Stone her. Oh, she was accused of sleeping with somebody else? Just stone her to death. Fine. Throw off her building. This is barbaric, and people supporting this stuff are out of their minds. And people are like, well, it's the Islamic extremists. No, it's Islam. It's in their holy, what they call their book. I mean, it's in the Quran. So it's like, no, it says that. Now, the Muslims who are like, no, that's kind of barbaric. I'm a Muslim, but I'm not into we kill people that don't. Okay, well, good, because you're the first ones that are going to get knocked off. They can even go after Muslims that don't believe in jihad. If you don't believe in jihad and you're a Muslim and you're a Muslim that doesn't cause any issues, I'm sorry, you're not a real Muslim, and off with your head. So this is the first people they're coming for, are the so-called Muslims that don't think the way they think. So even they can say, oh, I read the Quran, but there's certain passages that are outdated or whatever. No, that's not how it works. So it's insane to me, Jeff, that here we are at this place in history. And then if you want to see this one statement from Trump before we do the drawing, guys, you got to type in rigged. We only have 11. Donald Trump put this out on True Social. He said Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that's the least of it. When Christians in any such group are slaughtered, what's happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide, you never hear about any of this stuff. Nothing. Something must be done. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole at the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look in this matter, report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Yeah. Thoughts on that, Jeff?
Yeah, I have to make a statement, and probably better save for another show because I have to get to the gun range here shortly. But I'm looking at the comments. I think people are way off, just based on some of the comments, that it just shows a complete lack of understanding on a global scale of what's actually happening, which is a little disheartening because I see this way too much. People want to ignore the Islamist objective. It's very clear. It's being smacked in your face, right? It's being told to you exactly what's happening. People want to keep focusing on Zionism, don't even understand what that word means, but yet they throw it around all the time. Zionism means Jews that want to, live in Israel, and that's it, right? That's Zionism. It's to have a Jewish national homeland in Israel, which is historically and biblically accurate, and that's it, right?
That's Zionism. Why would Jews be against Zionism? Why would Jews be against
there are
3,000 years, Jeff? 3,000 years can date back.
Right.
There's no such thing as Palestine. There's no such place as Palestine. There never has been. They're talking about nomadic people that went on from place to place. They want to tie Palestine back to different periods. It was never Palestine.
Yeah.
This is
Hey,
insane, the
it's
people.
actually, I'm not saying that you don't. I think you're just misled on certain things. I would love to sit down and talk to you because I think you probably do have a lot of historical knowledge, and there's probably a branch where you went down and where I'll go down. But I'm always open to sitting down and talking. That's why we like having,
Come on the
contrarians
show. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
in
Come,
space. Yeah.
come on the show.
But the point being, with all of this is that people keep saying not to look in. They talk about the Holy War. They talk about, that what might have happened, during the Inquisition period in the 1400s, under the guise of the church. And, throughout history, maybe there's been, some touch point. We're talking about 2025. I'm not talking about the 1400s. I'm not talking about when people didn't have access to all the knowledge and access to education. We're talking about 2025, where you can disseminate and educate yourself any way you want. You can get on an airplane and travel pretty much anywhere you want in the world and go see it, for yourself, and go learn, for yourself in that country. The point is that from an Islamist perspective, 1400 years of subjugating and conquering and committing actual genocide. That's what we're talking about. But yet the world wants to only look at snippets of history, similar to like an X post. You want 160 characters. People want to look at history in 160 character segments. And that's super disheartening because history goes back and you have to go to the beginning. Then you look at the countries that are now dominated by the Islamist takeover. Yes. Is it a minority? It's a minority. Do most of the people in the Muslim world want to live and support their families? Yes. When Afghanistan started shifting back because the U.S. was trying to play nation building, which they were in a country which was almost impossible to nation build in. They tried to do some nation building in Afghanistan, and as soon as we pull out, they go right back to where they were. It is 100% self-destructing, except they fight amongst themselves. But while they're fighting against themselves, they're steamrolling Western civilization. Iran, perfect definition. Lebanon, Syria, those are perfect. What's happening in Africa, Northern Africa, from the Sudan down to Nigeria, the world is staying silent on this, and it's all in the name of the Islamists. Now, let's just say, Islam is what, 1 point whatever billion, 2 billion. I don't know. We'd have to look up to get the exact number. It's over 1 billion. Take 10% of them. That's 100 million people in the world that are fighting to destroy Western civilization. 100 million. That's 1/3 of the United States population.
Higher than that.
But it's greater than 10%. Let's say it's 20%. Let's say it's 30% of the population. Then the rest of the sheeple go along with it because they're being controlled. And that's exactly what happened in Iran. You have a minority that took over the majority. Iranian Persian people are amazing. Right. But then you see what they did and how they subjugated their own people, and you see them fighting back again. But now what's happening over in Northern Africa is so disgusting. And yet the world is silent. The UN is a ridiculous organization to begin with. But what we see, and then, what happens? We see all of this stuff that's really happening in the world, and everyone says Zionism. I just don't get it. It's the craziest thing. Are there leftist socialist Jews? Yes. Are there leftist socialist Christians? Yes. Christians outnumber Jews, probably 100 to 1. 100 to 1. So do I go around and am I going to point at all of Christianity and say, look at what the Christians are doing with socialism and communism?
No, the Jews are too easy, Jeff. Why would you attack the Christians when the Jews are just way too easy? They've been, and this is the thing. You go 3,000 years of recorded history, and if you look at, I thought it'd be great that I always tell Jeff I want to do a man on the street where I go to New York City and I start asking people, hey, was Christ a Jew or a Christian? And I'm telling you, we'll probably hear most people say he was a Christian. The whole idea is that Christ was a Jew. This is the whole thing. It travels back 2,000 plus years, 3,000 years. You can track back, what Christians call the Old Testament, what the Jews call the Torah. It's documented. There's no documented history of all this stuff that's new, and nobody ever wants to go look at it. Nobody wants to track it. Osmond says all religions can be toxic depending on who reads the holy books. In 2025, you only take a religious book, follow it for every detail. It's the dumbest thing ever. This is a real easy phrase to say, but here's the difference when you look at religion, what I consider to be a religion. A religion usually most of the time comes from love and comes from peace, and it comes from wanting to get along. There's no religions except for one that says kill people who don't believe like you, who says treat women like they're possessions, like they're an animal. I mean, dogs get treated better than the women do in if you want to follow Islam to a T, okay? Beaten up. If you look at all the great countries that going back to the 60s and how they used to dress, there's a great video. I don't have it handy, but great video. It says they used to dress like this, boom, now they're in burqas. They used to dress like this, they've been conquered, okay? And so this is the kind of, and you have to seriously look into Pakistanis that are 75% inbred. That's a problem. Low IQs, easily managed, and so somebody comes along, 700 and starts preaching this thing of and it's prophesized in the Bible. There's some specific passages that talk about this fake, because Muhammad supposedly went into a cave and an angel appeared to him. It's all prophesied in the Bible. It talks about that. Watch out for false angels preaching something of another, what looks like another religion. So there's no missing pieces here. This has all been around. So why people they just love the word Zionist. Oh, everything's a Zionist. Well, why in the hell wouldn't the rightful owners, the Jews, have a right to Israel, their homeland? And they think it's like a new world. Oh, because in 1947, Jewish became a state. And because of this, because they want to tie it back to something. You're talking about history here. You're talking about recorded history. So, oh, this person's a Zionist. Of course, why not? Because why wouldn't they have an ancestral home? And if you look at the Christians tie all that back to the same homeland, right? You look at Revelation, for example, that talks, I'm not going to get a real, but if you look at Revelation is very specific. It talks about the nation of Israel. A lot of that stuff's present. A lot of stuff has happened, but a lot of it's future tense. There is no future tense of Israel without an Israel, right? So, and if you look back at Christ, you look back at the miracles, you look back to the Sea of Galilee, you look back to the homeland, you look back, he spoke Aramaic, you look back to his tribe and his people. It all happened in Israel. Most of it happened, well, in that whole region, but Israel was a lot bigger than it is today. But that area, it's all documented. It's all proof. So it's not just unless. So you're calling, because someone called me a Christian Zionist. They go, "You're a Christian Zionist." I'm like, well, what the hell is that? It's like, well, you're a Christian that believes the Jews have. Oh, what? Because Christ was a Jew. I mean, what is wrong with you people? So anyway, that kind of took a little turn, Jeff. We weren't expecting it to. We got bonus rants today, but it drives me nuts. People are constantly hitting me up on X all the time, challenging me, and I'm like, so I told Jeff, I got to put that on my bio. I'm a Christian Zionist. Anyway, yeah, if XR people, I mean, if you want to come on the show, why don't you come on here? We'll have a civil debate about it. And I love the fact that you're always civil about it. And and I like the fact that you guys have counter opinions. Someone said earlier, Chip, you're wrong. Great. I'm not going to be right about everything. I'm going to have my sort of ways of thinking about stuff. You're going to have your ways. But again, this is what makes the world better, is if we can have these debates and if we can talk about them. It's our show, so we just give you our opinion, which happens to be lockstep 90% of the time, 99%. Jeff and I have to find things to disagree about. We have to make up things we disagree about, because it turns out that we're on the same page, 99.9% of the time. But let's do the drawing, Jeff. Let's get this thing going. Let's get on to our rest of our weekend here. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Guys, we have 11 entries that typed rigged. Go ahead and play the video, Jeff, and I'm going to go ahead and type in rigged. All right,
play this video. I got to run. My ride's here for the gun range.
Let's do it.
We went late.
Then we're not going to give it away, because I'm not doing it.
Oh, you don't want to do it?
Just do the drawing now, then. Don't play the video.
Okay.
No, because it's too much. It's too much of a hassle, man. Let's do this.
Someone can pick it right.
There you go. All right, we got 11 in there. I'm hitting draw. Boom. Let's go. Wins. Osman, you are still here, I believe.
Osman is here, and he said rigged.
Here you are. Boom. You're here. There you go.
We're giving away Badass Yeti 445.
And here's what we have. This is newly instituted because of what happened last time. We have a timer. So when that expires, that means you expire. If we don't see a wallet or I'm here, you are expired. And we basically roll again. So it's an official way of doing it. You have 1 minute to respond. and Osmond has already done it. The other thing we have to do, Jeff has noticed, is that screenshots were sent to me because from last time from Eiswine, because he gets, I think when you type in here, sometimes it gets filtered out because you could see his comments were in there the whole time. So
I go into YouTube so I can see everyone's.
So I do YouTube as well because sometimes, but Osmond already put his wallet up there, so we're good.
Yep, and his Twitter.
Excellent, very good, man. Proud of you.
So
have a great weekend, XRP Plumbing. Think about coming on the show for if you want to do some debate. We'll just have you on for a segment. You come in 20 minutes, we'll pop you on, and we'll have a segment, and I'll moderate, and you and Jeff can debate.
I can bring in
through.
That's it. Done. We have sent it.
That's it, guys. Well, thank you very much. We ran long as usual. Jeff's got to go to the gun range. I got to run to a couple places myself. That's all we have, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you back on Wednesday. Jeff and I both have commitments tomorrow. And yeah, so we're not going to be able to do the show, but we will be back on Wednesday. Jeff will be back Wednesday. I'm actually going to be in New York City, so I will be at an XRP meetup on Wednesday night. So I won't be. Maybe if I'm there, maybe I can join remotely.
Yeah.
I might be able to join remotely because there's an XRP meetup type of thing going on. And I'll be back for next Saturday. So I'll see you guys all next Saturday. And that's all we have for you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Chip and Jeff. Ow! Ow!
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.